7 o'clock, call this meeting to order.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So hopefully everybody had an opportunity to take a look at the minutes that were distributed. And if you have, can I get a motion to adopt the minutes as distributed?
I'll move it. So I'll second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Citizens' comments. I think we're going to have a few tonight.
Good evening, Supervisor Wicks, and thank you for hearing my comment today.
Thank you for coming.
I'm Liz Schmidt, and with my husband Ed, I am a resident of 3695 Hayes Road, and we have lived there for 25 years. We have long enjoyed the quiet neighborhood and the beauty of peaceful summer nights, but the expanding and escalating activities of the Winds of Cold Spring Harbor Marina Bar in the summer months have made it impossible and infringe on the peaceful enjoyment of our property. Since the change of ownership in the marina and the liquor license obtained in 2014, the facility has added increasing multiple nights of live music, and the activities of this bar have led to increased noise, trash, and traffic to this neighborhood. I have several areas of concern. I'm going to start with zoning and code enforcement. According to the current Onondaga County assessment documentation, this address, the marina, is a marina only. There is no mention of its restaurant, its bar, its live music venue. It is an NRBD designation, a mixed-use zoning. And according to Article 10, this district permits limited retail compatible with residential uses. The scale of the bar and live music activities of the marina are not compatible with the residents that surround the marina. Furthermore, the zoning category prohibits detached accessory buildings on lots primarily used for non-residential purposes. This should include the music stage and the outdoor bars. F6 of the same ordinance asserts exterior noise and odors shall be minimized. Exterior speakers shall not be permitted or used without the specific approval of the planning board. We are here to say, without equivocation, exterior noises are not minimized, and the owner of the establishment is not amenable to polite requests to minimize this noise. In recent years, the marina has received a permit to expand the deck, despite a lack of parking. It is not clear why it's continued to allow to expand, with documented parking issues that impede the passage of emergency vehicles and impede access to the fire department's rescue boat at the Seneca River Boat Launch. The use of the DEC license-funded public boat ground parking area by the bar impedes the ability of boaters to use that facility. We also have concerns over nuisance and noise. The bar and the music portion have expanded in size and days of the week. We get no break, even with the closed-up house. My husband and I can hear music in the house, and it shakes from the bass. We live a quarter of a mile from the bar. We are not next door. Under the noise ordinance, this bar disturbs our peaceful enjoyment, prohibited under Chapter 202-5. It creates sound which intends to injure, alarm, annoy, harass, or disturb the peace or enjoyment of property occupied by another person of normal sensibilities. I think my husband and I are pretty normal. We have our moments, but we're pretty normal. And prima facie evidence, after 10 p.m., often the music does not stop. It's supposed to, but it doesn't always. Bar traffic includes very noisy motorcycle traffic, and they all leave at the same time once the music stops, disturbing us all again. There's always trash in my yard after the performances. So it's every morning after a live music event is the pickup. I actually am a little disappointed in local government response. Perhaps this is because individual small residential neighbors have not banded together to communicate well to you what is happening here. But the bar with live music and the exterior speakers that face the homes should have never been allowed in the first place under this mixed-use zoning. Granting this decked permit with the demonstrated parking problems should have never happened because they don't have the existing parking as is. The assessment of the property is a huge red flag. 2018 data shows a $450,000 note payoff purchase price with an assessment now of $322,000, over 25% less than the market value, which by definition, a purchase price is a market value. Even with this favorable assessment, the tax bill is not getting paid. Research on the property shows multiple years of arrears with taxes and penalties of over $52,000 and some change owed to the town of Lysander. In comparison, my husband and I have a home that's been reassessed annually for the past 5 years, upward with the housing market. And I have never, ever missed a tax payment. I have never been delinquent in my 25 years as a property owner. So to be clear, the owner of the establishment, Mark Bragman, has received a huge amount of leeway and I think friendly reception in zoning and planning and his building permits and noise complaints. But he doesn't even, ironically, financially support this government right now. We do, the residents do, who are victimized by his establishment. So, quickly, what do we want? We come here tonight to ask the town to now consider and weigh the impact of the residents collectively in this neighborhood and the escalating, expanding behavior of this marina, bar, entertainment venue in the summer months. Includes enforcement of noise ordinances and zoning with full appreciation of the residential impact in this mixed-use category, a fair assessment of this property, and a collection of back taxes. I don't even know how the rules work, but I don't even know why permits are considered if someone owes $50,000 to this town. That should sit on a desk until payments are made. Limiting occupancy and expansion to match available off-road parking, and protecting the public boat launch from private business appropriation. That launch was not built to be an extension of that marina. Our neighborhood is a modest, middle-class neighborhood of hardworking voters, and some of whom have called this home for decades, including exceeding really the time of this liquor license granting. I'm proud among my neighbors to include a Vietnam veteran and 9 volunteer firefighters who ironically respond to 9/11 calls from the bar despite the fact the owner is not financially supporting the Seneca River Fire District because they are delinquent in taxes. We may not be connected or influential as a group, but we're asking you, our elected representatives and public servants, to do right by us. My husband and I raised 2 sons in this home with values of respect for others and civic engagement. The oldest embodies these values as he defends the nation as an Apache pilot and an officer in the United States Army. We pay our taxes on time to support the functions of local government and to educate the children of this community. It is households like ours that are the background of a community like the town of Lysander. Please take our concerns seriously. We consider it's the beginning point as we reach our limits and we have begun to organize, and we hope that we can collectively get a voice that is equal to this business that has really impacted our quality of life. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have a copy of that?
I do.
To give to the clerk?
I would like to.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Just to drive home the point, all these people here came to support my wife with this notice.
Sure.
And there would have been more, but there was a letter that said the meeting was canceled, so there's confusion about that.
A letter that the meeting was canceled.
That was the public hearing.
There was confusion over what the vote was.
That'll be next.
All right.
That'll be next.
So that's fine. But well, there's a bunch of us, we're all inconvenienced, and it's really got to stop. 4 or 5 hours of bass pounding through your brain every night is not a good way to live.
So, we don't normally, go back and forth with public comments, but I have to ask this question. This is the first I'm hearing about this. Have you folks done anything?
Yes.
I'm gonna see, there actually have been, but I actually think we have suffered in silence because it's escalated. I've used the term expanding and escalated in my speech, because at first it was a small neighborhood tiki bar. Just a few people having some beer, good for them.
Right.
But then live music came, and then it wouldn't stop, and then it expanded every night. So this has been an escalating problem, so I think we've reached our limit.
So, but you haven't, I just want to know for sure.
They have.
They have. Yes, you come on.
Sir, excuse me, what's your name?
Oh, I was Ed Schmidt.
Okay, thank you.
No, this has been ongoing for some years now. We've dealt with code enforcement. And it just seems.
Your name, I'm sorry.
My name is Pam Sebastian. I live at 3682 Hayes Road, right next door to the Tiki Bar. So in 2018, we approached the then supervisor and code enforcement. We had a direct meeting. The Magics, Chuck and I, the 4 of us went, talked to the supervisor, let him know our concerns. We had sanitation concerns, we had sewage, sanitation, and we can go on and on because there's no facilities at this bar. There's just porta potties. We were concerned, we voiced our concerns, we went back and forth, and nothing ever happened. Codes did go and meet with them, basically slap on the hand again. And then this past year, things just keep escalating, and we've talked to Mr. Bragman personally. We've spoken with him, we've asked him to please stop, lower the music, lower the volume. We're not trying to put the guy out of business. We just want respect for the neighborhood. And he continues to grow and get louder and louder. And what just recently happened, and for some reason we don't know why, I actually came down here and asked codes why they were suddenly building a deck on the back of this facility now. And they told me it was for the apartment. There's also an apartment in the Marina building. Well, the door to the apartment was on the opposite side of the building. So for some reason, we just kind of kept getting swept under the rug. So we just decided to come to you guys directly, versus going through codes, because they've never been able to do anything for us. And I do have to say, on behalf of the former code enforcement officer, Owen Dents, I believe what he had done was he created, it was a little tiki bar, like Liz said. It was just a small little bar, and it was for the marina patrons. It's neighborhood use. It was for the marina patrons. And Owen allowed that. But then when the new codes took over, Tim, when he took over, I think that's when things got a little bit misconstrued. I think the town was taken advantage of. Things were built without permission. I know they did get fined by the ABC, the State Liquor Authority. So things kept happening, and it was after the fact. So then codes would go down, and it's like, what do you do? Slap on the hand. So that's why we just have to get to the point that it's got to get back to neighborhood use and be a small little quiet venue. There are literally hundreds of cars. I have pictures, hundreds, they totally block the entire public launch, so that our fire department, if we ever had an emergency, we would not be able to get to the boat. They wouldn't be able to get to the boat. They wouldn't be able to get their vehicles. They couldn't even get their vehicles down the road. So it's gotten out of control, and he just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And I will say, a lot of the people that I've mentioned frequent the tiki bar, so that doesn't help us either. So, you know, we need to start somewhere. And they granted a liquor license in 2014, and that was okay too, as long as it stayed small, you know, little duos, 2 or 3 piece bands, that's fine, and end at 10 o'clock. And keep the decibel level down. That was the other problem. The town said they had a decibel meter, but no one would get paid overtime to come out and enforce it, we were told. So that was the other, we did what we could.
Yeah, I don't know what you were told in the past.
That was
but
in 2018.
Yeah, that when?
2018 is when we did
So-
everything we could to try to get this to stop.
No one up here has ever told anybody that if we had to address a problem, that would be a concern. If it's a problem, it's gonna be addressed, and overtime it's not gonna be, if we have a problem that has to be dealt with, it's not gonna be not dealt with because of overtime. So I can, you know.
We said, we're willing to pay it.
Yeah, no.
We were like, even back then, so, you know,
Yeah,
and
so-
it just got to where we're very frustrated again, and now that's why we're approaching.
Well, I am so glad, I'm speaking for myself, I'm sure the sentiments in the same. Thank you for coming out, my goodness.
Thanks.
It's embarrassing to sit here and hear stuff that, wow, thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, sir.
I'm finished, if they're finished.
Thank you.
Gene Dinsmore, 7493 Highland Drive. I just wanted to remark about I was kind of shocked at what I heard in the meeting before. I think your town engineer had it right for you, and I think is being kind of, you have some elderly vehicles that need to go. Okay, you have more elderly vehicles that aren't even being mentioned. You have in the barn, you have a 2008 backhoe with a lot of hours on it that needed to go couple of years ago. Shouldn't be here, this is 2022, and you got a 2008 backhoe. Come on, okay? You also have in that same barn, a 2011 payloader, which is crucial during snow removal time. That's the only thing you got to load trucks with. 2008 backhoe, 2011, it's now 2022. You need to think about replacing that backhoe. I think you really need to do more than think about it. You need to replace it. However, whatever time your time frame that works, do what you gotta do. But I think, you were concentrating on talking about a couple of vehicles, whether or not to buy them this year or next year. And you got more than that that's on your plate right now, been on your plate. Okay, been on the plate of the previous supervisor and the previous board, which included two of you guys. Okay, so these things cannot be put off year to year to year. They need to be taken care of, and you got an engineer that's able to figure out the numbers and show you a pattern how you can do it. You got the truck dealer who's already explained to you about the reason that the trucks are hard to come by now, and so the facts are out there for you to look at and think about, but you need to take action. You can't just put it aside because we happen to have some extra money from the federal government. Okay, there's more to it than that. Now, talk about a little further than that. After we got done abusing the trucks, we started talking about the roads. And I got thought, oh my God, have you not driven these roads? I mean, yeah, you did. Al can tell you how many roads you did last year and how many you did this year. You did a lot last year and you did a lot this year. And I'm glad to see that. However, there's a lot more out there that haven't been done in years. Okay, I can tell you about Cold Springs, where I happen to live. Those roads were built in the 1950s, and they have not ever been paved since 1950s. They've had oil and stone a couple of times, not recently, but they have had oil and stone. I can see the evidence of that. And Cold Springs is not the only roads that are like that. On the western edge of the town in particular, there's a lot of roads that have not gotten much attention other than the oil and stone occasionally. So I'm not saying that you need to get out there and pave them this afternoon or tomorrow morning, but I'm saying you got a lot more to think about than them couple of trucks that are on a delayed purchase schedule. And I truly believe that if you mess with that delayed schedule, it will cost you money in the long run. It will come to bite you in the behind. You had spent a lot of work developing that delayed schedule, and I thought that was a done deal with you guys. But so now here that you're considering canning that and backing off and pushing the truck purchases back, I'm sorry to hear that. I really implore you to get back together and consider in depth those roads that haven't been done in years, that other equipment that's in the barn down there that you haven't even talked about. I mean, yeah, we're talking about the trucks and maybe you're gonna delay them, this and that. You haven't even mentioned there's $500,000 worth of equipment in that.
I don't mean
line.
to cut you short, but you're just
Okay.
about to the 5 minutes.
You get the idea.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else this evening? Okay. Town board comments. I'll start with you, Mr. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Couple of things. For starters, I just want to address a little bit about what you're talking to, Gene. Taking action
Yeah.
requires us to spend taxpayer dollars. That's what it requires. And right now, excuse me. And
It's not, excuse me, just for a second. It's not a back and forth.
I'm
So
just making a comment.
when any counselors, is making their comments, their comments, that's it.
I know.
So taking action, as you call it, requires us to spend taxpayer dollars. And right now, we could be headed for some pretty tough times. And so we're not abandoning a plan or canning it, as you said, we're actually following it. What we're not doing is expanding it. We're not buying 2 trucks right away, which the plan didn't have us doing. It had us buying 1, which we, at the last meeting, we said we would do. So what we're really trying to do is a balancing act. And it's sometimes easy to say we should buy more, but there are people out there who are gonna fall under hard times and currently are. And we're trying to make sure that we're being as frugal as we can and still get the job done. That's what we're trying to do. And it's not easy, but those are the decisions we have to make, and the discussions you heard were us. That discussion was us trying to figure out the way to get the job done without breaking the bank and looking to the future, knowing that, there are a lot of signs saying it's gonna get a little bit rough for a little while. So that, I just wanted to answer, or not even answer, but at least comment back to some of the, we're not abandoning anything, we're not canning anything. We just ordered a new truck at the last, or authorized the ordering of a new plow truck at the last meeting. So we're doing that. Now, I know some people were gonna talk a little bit about Lysander Park probably in comments, so I want people to know out there that we are aware. Of course, moments after the incident happened at Lysander Park, immediately we had a text thread going with the board talking about, for starters, just so grateful that nobody got hurt. And then secondly, starting to brainstorm what we can do to help make sure something like this doesn't happen again. So that's happening, and I know other people were talking about that. I would like to congratulate the Baldwinsville Bees girls lacrosse team for a state championship title that they won. I would also like to congratulate the Baldwinsville boys lacrosse team for the state championship that they won. And I would also like to congratulate Owen Weaver, an individual senior at Baker High School who won the state title in the pentathlon as well the same week. It's been a good week for Baldwinsville athletes, and congratulations to all of them. Thank you guys for coming in. Thanks everyone who ends up watching that phone, Sydney's phone, whatever's going on over there. But thank you for coming in. Thanks for making your comments. And I've spoken long enough, so.
Well, at the risk of being redundant, I would like to echo Councilman Moore's comments. It bothers me a great deal to be accused of just disregarding, in this case, highway needs. I mean, one of the more important things in this community, if not the most important, is the question, are our roads okay? Do we take care of them? And my goodness, this is a bunch of gentlemen up here and the previous board who was as frugal as possible, at the same time recognizing that you can't put off for tomorrow what needs to be done today. I hope Pete's right when he says we're having a little bit of trouble facing us in the next couple of months. I'm 71 years old, and I have never experienced an economy that's going to, I won't use the word. And I'm scared. I'm scared personally, I'm scared for my grandkids, and I'm scared for my kids. And if we can continue to plow the roads, buy the trucks as we've planned to do, more power to us. you know, it's really simple to say, oh, let's buy more trucks, let's plow more, build more roads or maintain more roads. All I gotta do is send a tax bill out to all of you folks and double your taxes or triple them. We don't wanna do that because we would bankrupt this community. So I feel really good about being responsible in that, and, you know, and I'll defy anybody to show us where we're not being responsible. And to make accusations that we're not really does an injustice to the public of this community. We live in a great town where people team up together. We've got a bipartisan committee up here on this board, and we're all working together really well. We have our disagreements, but that's what politics and government is all about. So I'll leave it at that. Second thing was my daughter was at Lysander Park the other night with my grandson playing lacrosse, and I got the phone call. It was like, oh my goodness. And you know, all I'm thinking to myself is, thank God nobody got hurt, including the driver of that car. And God help him, whatever is going on with him. And hopefully this was a one-off kind of an event that, you know, in all the years that I've lived in Lysander, nothing like this has ever happened. Could that mean it's not gonna happen tomorrow again? Who knows? But, you know, the fact that nobody got hurt, I am so grateful for. And to be completely redundant, yes, go Baldwinsville Sports. I mean, did we do a good job or what? So that's great, I'm done.
I'll echo what Pete and Bob said too. I'm glad the girls and boys lacrosse team won the state champions, so I'm pretty proud of them. I'll stick to the agenda tonight.
I would just like to thank people for coming out and presenting us with the issue you're having, and hopefully we can come to some kind of resolution. Might not be tomorrow or next week, but you've put it on our radar. And, you know, if anybody else out there, feel free to stop into town hall, talk to the clerk or the supervisor. Our emails are all on the website. If you feel you're not getting anywhere, feel free to email the town councilor. You know, don't exhaust any avenues. I don't want to see things go on for years and then nobody's happy. Everybody just gets more and more upset, and you feel like you're doing things that are futile. So I don't want to see that happen. In one other part of our town this week, we did have a fire, so more of a PSA for the people with pools and water pumps. Make sure you maintain them. If they're getting noisy, don't let them go by the wayside. Get them looked at, get them serviced, you know, make sure of it so something doesn't happen like a fire, because it is very easy for equipment to fail, and next thing you know, your house is on fire and you might not even realize it. That's unfortunate. Luckily, nobody was hurt or injured in that issue this week. You know, as we talked about, Councilor Warren Gerasi and Councilor Kurak has talked about Lysander Park. It's on our radar. I could have come up with quite a few scenarios of an issue at the park, and that wouldn't have been one on how it played out. So we're gonna look at rectifying the situation and seeing what we can do to minimize any more issues going forward with anything like that happening. Other than that, thank you for your time.
Okay. This is the first I've heard about your issues with the tiki bar. So, I'm in here every day. I mean, if you were stopped in, I take people in all the time. So I wouldn't, you know, if you have a problem, you can always call me. And if, you know, I'm not in the office every day. I try to return my calls. This week, I know my phone's blinking in there. I didn't return many calls because I was extremely busy with a lot of things. But I can tell you that starting tomorrow, I'll be working on that. So I'm gonna get on that to see what we can do. You know, the liquor license, you know, when the liquor board issues out liquor licenses, yeah, it never ends up being a small place. I mean, if they have people that are willing to go there, they're gonna try and be as big as they can be. So what we have to do is take a look at the zoning, and I don't know the town codes or the county codes, what the health department is when you talked about the bathroom situation and things like that. Now, porta potties are acceptable bathroom situations for places, but I will take a look at it. I'll also have a conversation with the owner myself, and we were made aware of the parking issue out there, and some of the businesses were affected. As soon as we were notified about it, we started working on it. And there's, there's a process that goes through, but we're working towards that, and it's a county road, so, we coordinated things with them. So just to let you know that, starting tomorrow, I'll be working on it, and, give me a little time, but, are your names on that, form over there, and contact numbers?
We'll add them when we leave.
Yeah, just add them when you leave, and then, phone numbers, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, if you don't hear from me by the end of the week, feel free to call me, but I'll get back to you as soon as, at least keep you updated on what I'm doing. All right. I don't want to belabor the roads things, but I can tell you, that our roads, I'm not getting calls about the condition of our roads, but what I am getting calls about, and what I do have a lot of complaints about, are our assessments, and our taxes, and we all get that. So although I realize Mr. Yeager and Mr. Sweetak, their job is to promote things. Their job is to promote, whatever on their agenda, roads, sewers, things like that. And we take everything into consideration, and we try to do everything that we can to accommodate what they're doing. But also, our job is to be financially responsible. And in doing that, when you look at a year where gas is $5 a gallon, you got people being unemployed, getting laid off. I just looked at the recent unemployment numbers, and they're going up, and they're not coming down. People can't afford food. People can't go out driving around because of the cost of gas and the cost of everything. So when we look at raising taxes during a time when people are really struggling, I'm not inclined to do that. And that may mean that we don't do as many roads next year. That may mean that. That's just the reality. I'm sure that some of the people at home, they're probably saying, yeah, I can't go on vacation this year because I have to pay for gas to get to work. Well, all right, they have to make a sacrifice. That means they expect that from us. Now, we have to maintain a certain cost. It costs just to maintain a level of service that's acceptable to the community, and that costs a dollar amount. From there, then it's the want to have, not the need to have, the want to have. Right now, when we're starting in the budget process, I'm going to take a look at all our needs. How much does it cost to operate the town? And that includes, doing our roads, buying new equipment, paying salaries, everything that goes into that. Then we're going to see how much money's left over. Then we'll make decisions on what we can do as far as the wants. That's how that goes. That's how budget time goes, and that's how I'm going to do it. But to be frivolous with things during, especially, at any time, but especially now, I think we have to be very, very conservative with the money we spend so that we don't overburden the taxpayers, because I do get calls about that. So, all right. Department head reports. We'll start with you, Mr. Zigman. Mr. Merrill.
So for those who may still not be aware, on Tuesday evening, a young man had a medical incident that caused him to drive off of Hinkle Boulevard. He was going west, so drive off Hinkle Boulevard. He went through the ditch, through a corner of Spence Field, which is primarily soccer, and if it weren't for a tree that he hit, he would have continued going, likely until he ran into the woods. I know that through Supervisor Ricks, we're working with the county to come up with a solution on that road. It is a county road, and we'll keep everybody posted on what we get from the county, really. That it was a freak accident, but it's not to say that something couldn't happen again. It is a busy road, it is somewhat of a dangerous area, and we have a soccer field right there,
like we discussed, in any event, if, no matter what happens, whether the county assists us or not, it is a county road, something's gonna be done to address that problem. There's no doubt about it, you know, and it's not gonna be a 5-year plan, it's gonna be done like as soon as we can get it done. But we wanna give the county an opportunity to see what their ideas are first, because it is a county road.
On writer notes, I wanted to let the board know and everybody that, pavilion and community rentals, this year to date, there's 120 total rentals, and that's as of today. 71 rentals of the Rotary Pavilion, 37 of the small pavilion, and 12 of the community room. 2021 total was 97 rentals. So we're already surpassed in just about half a season. We've already surpassed last year's rentals. I can't thank Gretchen enough for everything that she's been doing with those rentals. And so that, I just wanted to point that out. Program-wise, we have GEMS Plus beginning on June 28th. That'll be a 1-week camp, that's full. We have pickleball, we have kids, introduction to pickleball, starting on the 25th. And those are free sessions. We're providing equipment for the kids to introduce them to pickleball. We have some of the experienced players that are out there almost every day are assisting with that program. And that starts next Saturday. There's introduction to pickleball for adults. That's been ongoing for the spring. We have another session of that coming up on Sunday, June 26th. So for anybody that was interested in trying pickleball, that's a no-cost program, and again, we have equipment that we provide the adults for that.
Do they have to sign up, or can they just go there?
The kids pickleball, I've been asking parents to just email us or call us just to put their name down. There's no formal registration. For the adults, it's been a call or email. A lot of the pickleball players that are helping with that typically bring a few people, so that's kind of just show up. And then, you know, there's no registration for that. We have kickball registration ongoing, and we should be starting on June 28th. And that's still as planned, 2 divisions, 10 to 12-year-olds and 13 to 15-year-olds. So one will be on Tuesdays, one will be on Thursdays. And then we have a program coming up. This is not until September 30th, but it was a little bit of a program that had been held in the past, the family camp out. We've combined it with the Syracuse Astronomical Society and the camp out. The Astronomical Society brings out their astronomy experts and telescopes, and they have the ability to stream or view their telescopes onto a large screen, and they'll discuss with everybody what you're seeing in the night skies. So registration for that has started last week, it's ongoing. And again, the program is September 30th. That's $5 per person, and that includes, you know, pitch your tent and camp out for the night. So, lastly, we have the concert series coming up. The first performance is June 28th, and that'll be the Baldwinsville Pep Band. And then the following performance would be July 19th, the Flying Column, and the last one is August 2nd, and that's the Cottle Rockers, and those are all at, Mill Island in the village. And that's a combined effort, between, Van Buren, Lysander, the Rotary, and, the Village of Edo. That's everything.
Okay. Kevin, quick question, the spray park, you didn't mention it, I know it's been not the hottest beginning of summer yet, but how's the spray park doing?
This spring park has, been hopping.
It was
despite
packed
the-
yesterday.
Despite the weather. We've got some little bug issues that, Al and I are addressing. We think that, a lot of it is surfacing from the year that the spray park didn't operate. And so we've got some issues with the pumps. So the spray park itself drains into a pit, which then gets pumped out through the sewage, to the sewer, is that right? And so the pumps, are operated, they're turned off and on by floats. So if everybody knows how the floats work in the tank of the toilet, it works the same way. And, we're finding that there may be some corrosion and issues with the floats, pretty much based on the year that it didn't operate. So we've got those floats ordered, and we'll get those replaced, and hopefully that'll solve the problem. But what was happening is the pit fills up because the pumps aren't pumping, and then you basically have water running everywhere, so.
But the spray equipment's working good in there?
We've got, yes, other than we've got one valve that, we have, there's 3 rings. We have one ring shut off because it won't shut off on its own, so we have a valve that's being replaced on that.
All right, good.
We're waiting to order that, but other than that, the spray park's been working really well.
Great.
And, it's always busy.
Proceeding.
Nothing this evening.
Ms. Alcone?
Yes, actually, I just wanted to comment about what Mr. Merrill was saying about Gretchen helping out with parks. It's been really busy, and she's been doing great. And I just want to, say she's so good with people. She's pleasant. She has a nice voice on the phone. She's just doing a really great job, and she's very, laid back and kind and very organized.
Yeah.
And so I think that was a really good fit for her.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention that. And then secondly, I wanted to talk about Hayes Road, because we had to redo the local law for the signs. The reason for that is because we didn't have the length long enough, right? Okay, so we changed it, and there was papers back there if you wanted to see a copy. That's why we had to cancel the last public hearing. So we were just canceling the public hearing and not the meeting. Sorry if there was confusion about that.
One quick question, or 2 quick questions. The updated version, just says no parking along the road for a half mile. Is that both sides or just?
Nope, it's just one side. So where New Top is,
Okay.
okay?
Right,
It's
and then, that was the next question, is, you have it really from New Top up to
the transmission place.
right, but, the bar goes further than that. The landowner there's put up his own no parking signs, but really, you should extend it, down past the marina.
Well, that would be up to the board to change that, how far out.
Well, we have the public hearing, so we should discuss that during the public hearing. So when you come in the public hearing.
Yeah,
If there are issues like that, we'll address them. I mean, if it needs to be taken care of, we'll take care of them at that time, at the public hearing.
Yeah, if you think it should be extended,
I think they have mileage that goes all the way past the tiki bar, because we measured it.
Okay.
It goes past.
You
it
can-
goes past. I think it's gonna be okay.
you can address it even
Yeah.
if it is.
Yeah, we-
And if you can't make the meeting, feel free to email
Yeah.
what you'd like to say, if you can't come
I
there.
just wanna know what happens on our side of the
Yeah,
road.
what about the other side?
What about our side,
With the residential side.
with the resident, where we all are? I mean,
Well, like I
No
said,
shoulder on the road.
why don't we wait until the public hearing? If we miss something, we can address them at that
When
time.
is that gonna be?
July 14th.
July 14th. That's our next meeting, so.
I think there were no parking signs on our side of the road at one point in time, many years ago, because if you drive down, you could see old faded ones
Sure.
Around the corner.
around the corner.
Yeah, we'll look at that. I mean, just come in with, what your issues are, and we'll look at it. But I'll be talking to you in between them, so, okay?
I think that was it.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
thanks.
So we'll move on to the regular agenda items. We have a motion to hold a public hearing on July 14, 2022 at 7 PM in Lysander Town Hall for a proposed local law to amend vehicle and traffic law, section 295, article 4, section 295-28, relative to the installation of no parking signs, 0.5 miles from New York State Route 370 intersection to 3653 Hayes Road.
So moved. I'll second. Pete can second.
Any discussion?
You wanna hold off, we talked about the Brundage Road thing, you wanna hold off on that until?
Brundage Road.
Yeah, we're gonna add.
Oh, you want to add that?
If you want to, otherwise, I mean, we can do it following week meeting, that doesn't necessarily have to be done that.
Yeah, it's gonna take some time to work that out with them, so.
Well, yeah, we didn't have to act on it, you can still have the public hearing and keep it open, right?
If you know what you wanna do as far as Brundage Road,
Yeah.
is it no standing both sides?
Yeah, right,
Yeah, I'm not sure.
We're good,
I'm not sure. So,
we'll wait.
Okay.
any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. May I have a motion to waive the fireworks permit fee in the amount of $300 for the Founder's Day celebration at Cary Hornaday Park in Radisson to be held on Saturday, August 6, 2022. Rain date of Sunday, August 7th.
I'll move it.
I'll second. Go ahead, Kevin.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. May I have a motion to authorize the town supervisor to sign the intermunicipal agreement for the 2022 summer concert series?
We finally worked out,
All the glitches.
I'll move it.
everybody's on board.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. May I have a motion to appoint Matt Hunt to the Lysander Planning Board effective July 1st, 2022, with a term to expire 12/31/2026. This appointment replaces William Lester.
I'll move that.
I'll second
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. May I have a motion to appoint Robert Sweet to the Lysander Zoning Board effective July 1, 2022, with a term to expire 12/31/2026. This appointment replaces Matt Hunt.
I'll move it.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. We're tabling motion F, so motion G. May I have a motion to hold a public hearing on July 14, 2022 at 7 PM in Lysander Town Hall for the proposed cell tower extension located at 2846 Belgium Road, special use permit. This motion shall authorize the town clerk to advertise for same.
I'll move it.
it. I'll second it.
Any discussion?
Al, is this the one we sent over to zoning and then they send it back to us?
Yes, sir.
And they approved it, right?
Yes, sir.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion carried. Is there any need for an executive session tonight? Okay, then we will go into executive session at, may I have a motion to move into executive session at 7:50 to talk about a specific employee's work history.
I'll move that.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're in.
Who seconded that?
Check.
Okay.
Thank you for coming, and I will get back.